Okay, let's get back into the records. So I'll start this out with the record that I got at the show last night, and the show was this band, The Stools. They're from Detroit. They were playing at the Outer Limits Lounge. They had this 7-inch for sale. I got them to autograph it. Again, another record bought from the band themselves. And I filmed the whole thing. It's up on my YouTube channel, and I will let the footage speak for itself. Okay, first record. We're back into the A's, and this one is Assassino. And it's like a heavy metal grindcore record, and it's called Corridos de Muerte, and that translates into Stories of the Dead. So this thing is a lot like Brujeria, it's a lot like Napalm Death, and it's very entertaining. Okay, and here's another Assassino record, and this is a double LP gatefold. Again, you'll have to buy it to see what's on the inside, and it's worth it, and it's not that expensive. You can get it on Discogs for like $15. And this record's called Cristo Satanico, which is the Satanic Christ. And again, this is Brujeria, Napalm Death, just brutal thrash heavy metal. And the little ticket there is from the first time I've ever seen them, and that was they were opening up for Danzig at the House of Blues in Las Vegas. Okay, next record, The Addicts, Live and Loud. Bought this in Las Vegas back in the late 80s. And they're playing here in Detroit at the end of next month, and I might go see them. This card here is from a punk rock bowl. No, actually it wasn't from a punk rock bowling. It was from another show where I went and seen them in Las Vegas, and they threw cards out, and that's one of the cards they threw out. And the quality of this record is, it's okay. It's not bad. It's just them doing their stuff. I guess it's rather early. It's not recent. Like, it's like really, really early. It sounds like even before they even made a record. And here's another Addicts record. This one's, it's pretty good. This one's called The Sound of Music. And it's got some good songs on it. It's kind of recorded soft. So it doesn't sound like punk rock. It just sounds acceptable. But it's a good album nonetheless. Okay, here we go. This record right here. This record is, I don't know what to say about it besides it's the greatest thing ever. It's got so many great songs on it. Actually, every song on this is the best. So the STP, not LSD, Angry Simones. If you see this thing at a used record store and they want under $20 for it, buy it. It's really good. Here's another Angry Simones record called Yesterday Started Tomorrow. And this one is also really good. Not as good as the last one, but definitely worth $20. And this is an Angry Simone's little, actually I don't know what you'd call this thing. There's a few songs on it. And I guess it would be an EP. It might even be a bootleg. And this flyer you're looking at is from a telephone pole in Hamtramck, Michigan that I tore off. It doesn't have anything to do with the Angry Simones, but I thought it would dress this record up. And this Angry Simones record has Unhinged, Psyched Out, Somebody to Love, and it's on Bad Trip Records. And if you see it, and they want like $15 or $10 for it, it's worth it. Okay, here's the deal. This Angry Simones record is beyond perfect. And as you can see, it's autographed. I got this autographed in Las Vegas a long time ago. I didn't buy it directly from the band. I brought it to the show and they autographed it. And it's got all the original members' autographs on it. Every song on this thing is just the greatest thing you've ever heard. Again, this ranks up there with the early Black Flag, early Dead Kennedys, early Misfits, and this thing is autographed, so it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's priceless. Okay, here's another Angry Simones record. This is the original pressing of this, and it's got this funny little thing on the back. It's like an advertisement. It says, "Send your broken guitars to Dale Christian Guitar Repairs." Then it has a phone number. And that's right there. And this album it's really good. It's got some great songs on it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely worth picking up. And here is the repressing of it on Triple X Records with a different cover. But, you know, it's the same record, same songs. And this is I've seen the Angry Simones lots of times, and this is one of the set lists. And the back of this record is the same as the one I showed you before, almost. Some of the writing is kind of different, but it's the same picture. Okay, this is the bags, all bagged up. This record it's very, very good. It's out of print, and there was a bunch of copies of it. I have the least rare copy, and even this copy is hard to find. The record company what record company is this? Yeah, the Artifix record company for this thing, they just didn't make very many of them, and they should have made more. But this is an early LA punk rock band with Alice Bag, and I think this thing has everything they've ever recorded. It's got 20 songs on it, so if you see it, definitely pick it up. It's worth it. All right, this is Bulimic Banquet. And I got this in a record store in Las Vegas. And this one's okay. The songs are kind of goofy, not very memorable. But it's cool to have. It's got the best cover. And this is on Flipside Records. And this is one of the Flipside bands from the late 80s. Yeah, this one is from 1986. So Hopefully somebody watching this video has seen this band. I never got to see them. And hopefully live they were pretty good. Okay, this is a butt trumpet 10-inch that I got at this show in Las Vegas. And the show had the Battalion of Saints and Circle One, and it was a really good show, and they had this record for sale, so I bought it again from the band. And this record, the butt trumpet Primitive Enema, this thing is almost perfect. Every song on this thing is memorable, and if you don't have this record, get on your cell phone, go to Discogs, and order it and get it sent to you. This is a very, very good record. Oh, and I have a story. I went and saw GBH in Seattle, Washington, and the lead singer of this band was standing next to me at the GBH show. And I recognized him, and we had a funny little conversation. But yeah, I watched GBH in Seattle, Washington with the lead singer of Butt Trumpet. Okay, here's Black Sabbath's first record. The cover is the best. This record is okay if you speed it up. And that's a flyer from the Cooler Lounge in Las Vegas for some band that I found on the floor because I used to go to a lot of shows at the Cooler Lounge. But anyway, this record, mainly you'd have it for the album cover. The songs are played way too slow. But if you have a turntable, you can speed them up and make them, you know, kind of entertaining. Okay, this one, A Logger's Reward, is a Buzz Martin record, and it's songs about logging. It's almost like a country and western record, but all the songs are about logging. This thing has songs like A Logger's Reward, The Road Inspector, different kind of breed of a truck driving man. And the song that really stands out on this is Since They Repossessed My Used Log Truck. So if you see this thing, buy it. It's the funniest thing you've ever heard. Who'd have thought somebody would make a record of songs about logging and cutting down trees? Oh, there's another song on this called Too High on the Stump. That one, you definitely got to hear that. And this is from Vancouver, Washington. Okay, this one is Barnes and Barnes' first record. And this is like a Dr. Demento type thing. And the reason why you'd buy this is for the song Something's in the Bag. That's the reason to get this thing. Not the Fishhead song, but the Something's in the Bag song. That song is so creepy and good that it makes this record a must-have. So this is the Barnes and Barnes. It's like a comedy record. All the songs are kind of goofy. It's got the Boogie Woogie Amputee on it. That's another Dr. Demento favorite. Okay, here's the Beastie Boys. And this is a compilation album of all their hit songs. Okay, here's a picture disc of a punk rock band called Breakout. And I bought this from the band when I went and seen them in Fresno. And I don't know if you can see it, but I got them to autograph the record. And this is, it kind of sounds like the Casualties, but it's pretty good. Okay, this thing. This is the Come Recline with Western Civilization. And these are lounge versions of like hardcore punk rock songs. And it's on Go Kart Records. And it's definitely something you'd want to have in your record collection, just to hear lounge versions of Circle Jerk songs, Black Flag songs, TSOL songs, songs by Fear, Minor Threat. It's really funny to listen to. Okay, this is Michael Jackson, and it's the Ben record, and it's the one with the rats. Well, I don't have to tell you what's on the cover. And there's no reason to listen to this thing. The only reason why I have it is for the cover, where it's Michael Jackson's head coming out of a sea of rats. And there's the back of it. But let's just get back to the front. Okay, this is the Briefs, and I bought this from the band at Punk Rock Bowling on one of the years that they were playing Punk Rock Bowling. And this is just a bunch of, like, I guess outtakes, and it sounds pretty good. But the best part about it is the spear through Bob Seger's head. Even though this record doesn't have their hit song, the best song they ever wrote, called Kill Bob Seger Right Now, this thing doesn't have that. You'd think it would, but it doesn't. Anyway, it comes in a little bag, and it's definitely worth buying if you ever see it. I think they only sold it at shows. Okay, this is the Beatle Barkers. And these are Beatles songs, and the lyrics are dogs barking. So it's the Beatles music, kind of, played straight, and then there's dogs barking over the music to the tune of however, however the Beatles songs were sang. I'm not very familiar with the Beatles, but this thing is funny, it's annoying, and it's definitely worth buying. And again, it's just dogs barking. Okay, here's the Body Count, the first record they ever did. And this thing has Cop Killer on it. And it's from Germany. And you can't see it, but right there is the song Cop Killer. It's got the original cover. And geez, I think I paid $80 for this thing a long time ago from some record company in Germany. And it took forever for them to send it to me. So here's the Body Count on vinyl with Cop Killer on it. Okay, here's Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye. This record is really good. Some of the songs needed to be speeded up. And not every song on this is the greatest. But the songs that are great are just, you'll never forget them. So definitely pick this up. They made a lot of them. It should be cheap. It shouldn't cost very much for that one. This is Rock for Light. It's like a compilation record, and this one is a must-have. Even though the Bad Brains, there's a little story about them ripping off the big boys in Texas. And so, I don't know if I'd want to be friends with any of these guys because of what they did to the big boys in Texas when the big boys, had them down there for a show and put them up for the night and, paid for everything. And then the Bad Brains, for some reason, ripped them off of a bunch of stuff. But anyway, that story aside, this record is really, really good. Okay, here's Bad Brains Build a Nation. This is, I guess, one of their recent records, and it's horrible. This record is not worth buying. It's not any good. There's not one good song on this thing. It's mixed to where you can't hear the vocals, and even if you could hear the vocals, you wouldn't want to hear them. HR is singing as if he's trying to be accepted on AM radio. Yeah, that's the way to describe this thing. So if you see this, do not buy it. If you see this, buy it. This one's really, really good. And this is on SST Records, and this is just a bunch of songs live. Doesn't say where they're recorded. But this one is a really good record and definitely worth buying. This one is also the Bad Brains Live, and this is a perfect record. I'm sure anybody watching this video has already got this thing. This thing is perfect. I would put this record in the same category as Alice Donut's first one or the Dead Kennedys' first one. And there's a ticket stub from when I went and seen them at the House of Blues in Hollywood, and they weren't very good. It was when they were called Soul Brains, and HR just stood there singing the songs. It was not a good show. I kind of regret going to it. But this record here, I can't say enough good things about it. Here's a Bad Brains picture disc from Victory Records, and this one's really good. Those of you who have this thing, I'm sure have listened to it dozens of times. All the songs on it are good, and the problem with this thing is it's too short. This thing should have been a full-length LP. And here's another Bad Brains record, and this one is, if you see it for $5, it's worth $5. Any more than $5, it's really not worth it. It's kind of lazy. It's not like their early stuff at all. And here's a little newspaper clipping from the Los Angeles Times advertising shows. And let me see what shows. It's advertising the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Hollywood Palladium with the Butthole Surfers and Mary's Danish. And then it's advertising the Bad Brains with Leeway and Sick of It All at CSU Long Beach. And also at the Country Club. And here's a very early Bad Brains record, and this one's pretty good. It's got a few good songs on it. It's like half and half. Half of it's, like a must-have, and the other half is, not that memorable. And here's this one. And this is the Roar cassette on vinyl, and this also is very close to the best thing you've ever heard. So this band, Bad Brains, goes from the top to the bottom. They're not consistent, but when they're on top, like on this record, it's the best you've ever heard. Okay, and that's the finishing of the A's and the starting into the B's. My next video is going to be Cramps records. So I'm going to kind of cut into the alphabet with the Cramps because I've already got those laid out. So hopefully my Cramps collection will be impressive, although I'm sure there's people that got a lot better Cramps collections than I do, but they probably have more money. Anyway, see you later.